So, hello, welcome to this Facebook Live. We're going to be talking about some strategies to help you have the best December that you can possibly have. So if you'd like to be able to pace effectively, manage tasks and your energy efficiently, create some quick wins so you can enjoy December, then keep watching. I am going to refer to some worksheets and maybe some videos. I'll be putting all these resources in the Your Best December Facebook group. It's a pop-up Facebook group if you like. And you can access free coaching in December, group coaching. And I'm doing that on Thursdays at 9 a.m. for 3 weeks. We had the first session today, and Wednesdays at 4:30 p.m. there. That time is GMT, London time. So hopefully that's you can find a time that works for you. And I've put the link in the chat. So check out the video where I talk about that. There is a link in that video. You can sign up, get those free resources, join the Facebook group. So why focus on this? I do believe that we can influence how this month goes. December's a particularly special and often busy for a lot of people month. So what I want you to consider is that if we get overwhelmed and feel stressed, then that actually hinders the body's attempts to heal. And the more calm we are, the more healing that happens. Calm supports recovery. Okay? So what we're going to focus on in the next couple of weeks is why we're going to do this. What we're going to do is focus on 3 areas: planning, mindset, and taking action. Okay? So planning for success to help you have the best month you can have. Mindset, I would have normally started with that, but seeing as it's the 1st of December, I thought it'd be useful to get stuck into some planning, and then we're going to be looking at how you implement taking action. All right. Yeah, so let's talk about planning. A bit of planning can impact your calm levels, your energy levels, your productivity and satisfaction. I know when I plan my day, plan my week, have a loose plan for the month, I'm much more focused, much more productive, have a greater sense of satisfaction. And I realise one of the mistakes that I've made in the past is just not having a plan. And I even find it useful to have an idea of what I want to do over the weekend. When I have a plan, I get things done. I have more structure, if you like, to my day, and that suits me. So let's talk about what we need to do. I'm going to go to my iPad. First thing we need to do is to brainstorm what needs to be done. So feel free to shout out what would be on your list. I really encourage you to get a piece of pen and paper, and a pen, and just brainstorm whatever's on your mind in terms of what you think you need to be getting done or fitting into your day. A really good strategy for dealing with overwhelm is just get it all out of your head. Okay, we feel overwhelmed because we lay things on top of each other, and we've all got all this stuff going around in our heads. And David Allen, who's written a book called Getting Things Done, he consults with top companies. He says, we've got to get it out of our head. So first thing is get pen and paper and just get everything out of your head. David Allen says if we have this stuff floating around in our head, it's taking up, space in our brain. I'll upload a short video where I talk about this strategy where you sit down, write, get things out of your head. And I've done it many times, especially when I come back from holiday and I'm feeling like there's a lot going on in my head, or any time I just feel there's too much going on in my head. Pen and paper, get it out of my head. I always feel clearer. I feel more clarity from doing that. Okay, so let's brainstorm, and feel free to just add your thoughts in the chat and I'll add it to the list. If you're going to write a list of everything you want to get done in December, what would it include? So this is a list I started: writing cards, sending cards. There have been times that I've literally, I think a couple of years ago, I wrote some cards, I didn't even send them because I left it too late. So this is my list so far, but feel free to add in the chat. What would you add to your list? Buy presents, wrap presents, food shopping, planning for visitors and visits, phone calls, you know, for instance, if you've got people abroad. Also think about what would you add to that list in terms of self-care. Okay, so maybe I might add periods to rest or meditate, periods of doing physical activity, you know, obviously depending on your current ability. Remember that if your ability is very limited, just doing really small amounts or even just doing visualizing movement strengthens your muscles. Okay, so what would you add to that list? Just, you're going to first of all brainstorm the list, and then we're going to put it through the 5D filter. Okay, the 5D filter is do it, delegate it if you can, obviously, defer it, say I'm just going to do this later, divide it, so it might be if it's a big task, you like presents or whatever, you might split it into sections. I'm going to wrap 3 presents or 1 present. Okay, and finally you might delete. You might just think, you know what, I'm just not doing that. So for instance, I remember someone saying, oh, I write Christmas cards, but I find it really overwhelming. And so I said, well, what if you just didn't send them this year? And they were kind of taken aback by that. But they actually thought, well, actually that would make a massive difference to my energy and my calm levels. All right. So that's what we're doing first. We're writing a list, and then we're going through that filter. You know, for instance, I might say that, you know, if I had ME/CFS, then wrapping presents, I would do that with, you know, someone. I'd get some help for that. Okay. Food shopping, I might say, okay, that's definitely going to be an online shop, etc. Okay, so we need to put it through that filter, and then we need to prioritize. You know, what is my A priority, B priority, C priority? So I might say, you know what, actually writing cards, especially to the people abroad, that's my number 1 priority there. I'd also start, you know, buying the presents is a priority. You know, wrapping presents I can leave for a couple of weeks, or, you know, depending on your energy levels. But they're my real priorities. So that might be a C priority. That might be an A priority, actually, getting that, you know, slot booked. In fact, you may have, I suspect you probably have to have booked a slot already to get an online delivery for a lot of supermarkets. Okay, so phone calls, I can leave that. That's a B or C. You know, I don't have to do that right away. Okay, self-care is an A priority. Okay, so just go through that list and make a kind of judgment. Okay, next thing we need to do is to put the things that are the priorities into my action record. Okay, and I might start thinking about some target dates. It might be I say to myself, actually, I want to write all my cards by the 8th. Okay, so that I can send them in the next few days. Let's say, for argument's sake, by the 10th. All right, so I can send them all second class, save a bit of money on postage. Let's just move me over there. Okay, buying presents, I might say to myself, actually, I need to email all my family and say, look, send me your present ideas, because that's how we do things in my family. You know, I get told what I'm buying people, and say, look, I want that list by Sunday. Okay, so it's Thursday today. In fact, that's what I literally need to do tonight, is send out an email saying, tell me what presents you want, and I want it by Sunday, so I can start doing the shopping. Okay, so we're just going to go through that. You know, just putting dates. You know, if I'm just, this is off the top of my head, but I maybe want to finish all the present shopping by the 15th. Okay. Obviously, depending on when I'm seeing people, let's put an arbitrary date. Let's say I want to finish all my present wrapping by the 23rd. Okay. Next thing, so that's our action record. So we can keep track. We can say, oh, when that's done, bang, just cross it out. That feels good to cross it out. Okay. So that's the action record. But then the next thing we need to do, record of progress, that's not something we're focusing on, but there is a video where you can actually go through this audit and score some stuff. So if you want the link to that, just put the word audit in the comments and tag me and I will send you that. And then we're going to look at how we spread those tasks out in this festive planner. Okay, so I might say that between the 1st and the 7th, I'm writing cards. And I'm also starting to order presents. Okay, so you go through this whole list. I might say, okay, let's wrapping presents here. And actually I might do some present wrapping here. I might want to, as I said earlier, send cards here. Okay, so we're just going to go through that whole list and just start putting it in that planner. Okay, and then the other thing we want to do is to schedule activity time, rest time. So let's say, for instance, I'm saying between 11 and 12 is my rest time. That's Louise is saying very interesting. You know, let's say I have activity is anything that isn't rest. And rest I include closing your eyes, meditating, listening to relaxing music, listening to a guided relaxation. That's rest. Anything else, scrolling on Facebook, watching telly isn't rest. Okay, watching telly actually can use up a lot of our energy. Our eyes use up a lot of energy. Okay, there were times when I had CFS that I couldn't even look at a screen because it was too draining. All right, so just consider that, the difference between rest and activity. Again, I've made a video on that. Might pop it in the Best December Facebook group so you can check that out. But let's say I've decided that this whole period between 9 and 11, I'm doing things like having breakfast, I'm doing a little bit of yoga, I might do some activity like, you know, wrapping the presents or whatever. Okay, so that's activity time. Okay, and obviously it's going to be different for different people. You have to kind of use your judgment, and this is rest, chill time. Okay, and I just suggest you go through your day like that and schedule. Okay, well, let's say I'm going to have another period of activity from this point to this point. Let's say it's going to be different for everyone. And then I'm just going to have another period where I'm just kind of chilling. Let's say between 2:30 and 3:30. Okay. And so you can start looking at, well, actually, if I think about it, let's say, for instance, I decide to have an early lunch at 12 o'clock. And then this period here is when I'm just going to be doing some activities. It might be wrapping presents or doing a little bit of exercise or whatever. So we're just starting to schedule our day. So our day's got some shape to it. And you have to decide as you get to Christmas how much you stick to that plan. Someone was talking about this earlier this week. You know, do I stick to my plan on Christmas Day, whatever? It's your call. You know, there are times when I kind of threw my structure out the window because I just wanted to enjoy being with family or whatever. But there were times where I also thought, actually, you know what? I am still going to go and have a rest after lunch. It doesn't matter if people are opening presents then or whatever, because that's what I need. Okay, so you just have to make those decisions. All right, but I really encourage you to just consider the shape of your day. You know, it's different for everyone. Here's the thing: some people keep going And then they tell me that they kind of crash and spend 2 hours in the afternoon sleeping. And that suggests to me that maybe they need to relook at the rhythm of their day. And one thing I wanted to say, that if you do feel like you need help with pacing, I did create a pacing challenge. If you go to my website, CFS Explored, click the link, you can find out more about that challenge and decide whether it's for you. So Louise says, last Christmas Day I was at my cousin's. There were 13 people there. I had to nip off upstairs to rest at one point for half an hour. It was so busy. Yeah, and here's the thing. I really encourage you to think about, how long you need. I remember a client saying they literally got up in the morning, they were on the go all day, and then about 3 o'clock, they absolutely crashed and they were in bed for 2 hours. And so again, actually, maybe I'll just share. This is another audit you can do, all right, where you just look at three things. What time you go to bed, what time you wake up, the green periods, which are activity, and the blue periods, which are periods where you have a break. And this is not a forever thing, it's just a for now thing. But here's the thing, as I say, I had one client who was on the go all day till a certain point, and then they went into a big old crash and had to rest for 2 hours, or fast asleep. And what we looked at is designing their day to be a bit more like this, all right? And they found as a result that their energy got better, all right? So as I say, if you'd like to join the Your Best December Facebook group and access the free group coaching that I'm doing on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. We've had the first session today, got two more. Wednesdays at 4:30 p.m. GMT. You're welcome to join both if you can, but if you can only make one time, if one time suits you, then you're welcome to join. So do tell me, what's one little takeaway you're going to take from this session? As I say, all the worksheets that I've just shown you, I'll be putting them in the Facebook group, Your Best December. So if you want them, do join the challenge. I've put the link in the chat. Louise says, at the moment I have bad cold. I went to bed at 12 a.m, couldn't sleep. So now it looks like I have to be off sick. I went to work yesterday and have made two worse with the cold. Yeah, that's right. Lying down and not doing anything brings the energy back. Thank you. I will join. Yeah, do, Louise. You are most welcome to do so. Everyone's welcome to do so. If you've got any comments, questions, get in touch. Let's... Good. Louise says it does. All right, so let's finish with a very briefly relaxation. Okay, so takeaway, I was late, but my takeaway is to go to bed earlier and do less. Yeah, okay, think about that. Just to say, there's a reason why there is a slot here that is, this is coloured in grey because according to some sleep researchers, the sleep we get between 10 and 12 o'clock at night is worth double. So if you're if you go to bed at 10 o'clock, sleep for 8 hours, wake up at 6 o'clock, let's say, then that's actually worth 10 hours sleep. Whereas if you go to bed at midnight, number one, you're more tired, because you stayed up later, but you're only getting 8 hours sleep rather than the 10 hours sleep, okay? So that's something to think about. And as I say, if you'd like to watch a video where you can do this audit, you can do this other audit where you score these things and you get some areas to focus on to help you move forward, then put the word audit in the chat and I will send you the link to that video. But for now, let's finish with a very brief relaxation. So what I'd like to do, and Louise says, yeah, true, I went to bed at 10 p.m. when exhausted and much better the next day. Okay, well done, Louise. Very good. So that's, for me, it's so satisfying to go to bed early. And I used to be someone who religiously went to bed after midnight. because I thought I was missing out. But it can be really satisfying and nurturing to do that. All right, so Dana says, audit, I will be sending that to you. Mari says, useful to plot days and weeks. Yeah, I mean, and Yana says audit as well. Okay, I will send you that. For sure, I'm sharing this because I used to be rubbish at doing those things and I'm getting better. As I say, Christmas always used to be a last minute affair for me, okay? So I will send you all, I'll PM you the link to that audit. So you can do that for yourself. But now I invite you just to sit back, lie back, close your eyes, obviously as long as it's safe to close your eyes. And if you like, put your one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Or you can just do whatever feels most comfortable. You might want to uncross your legs, but just do what feels good for you. I'd like you just to focus on your breath now, breathing in through your nose as long as that's comfortable into your belly, and breathing out your nose. Our nose is specially designed to filter the air and change the temperature of the air so it's a nicer temperature for the lungs. So just breathe in and out. I'd like to just invite you to just take this time just to check in with your body, and do that from the perspective of the observer who just observes without comment, without concern. That part of you that just has the capacity to notice. So notice your physical body, and if you notice any sensations in a particular part of your body, just imagine breathing in. And as you breathe in, sending that energy to that part of the body that needs it most. And now I'd like you just to check in with your feeling and emotions. What emotion are you noticing right now? Again, just notice it from the perspective of the observer. Just noticing, okay, that's the emotion that's around at the moment. Again, just focusing on your breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And now, I'd like you to just check in with your mind. How is your mind at the moment? If we had a spectrum where at one end of the spectrum it's like a washing machine on a fast spin cycle, and at the other end of the spectrum it's like a ceiling fan, just slowly, quietly spinning. It might be so slow that it's barely audible. So just check in with your mind, knowing that you can slow your mind down. Just by, for instance, focusing on your breath. There's an exercise that I share called the timeout relaxation. And this is a really simple way of giving the mind a little activity. You can access that in my Facebook group, MECFS Explored. And maybe I'll add it to the Best December group as well. And now I invite you to check in with, as I call it, your spirit. And what I mean by this is just having that sense of, again, if we had a spectrum, one end of the spectrum we're operating from kind of fear, the other end of the spectrum We're operating from trust and love. So where are you on that spectrum? I'd like you to consider that wherever you are, it is possible to move more and more to that sense of trust. I was someone who operated from fear a lot, and I learned by accessing resources, tools and strategies how to shift more to a sense of trust. So I invite you to just cultivate that notion that that is possible. I'd like you just to consider that by practicing simple techniques, some of which I'll be sharing in the Facebook group for the best December, by practicing these strategies, you can be influencing your mind, your body, and physiology, which supports healing. So, thanks to everybody who's participated or watching the replay. Do leave a like or a dislike if you like. Leave a comment. If you found this video helpful, do share it with one person or a Facebook group that you're in. And for those of you who've requested the audit, I will be sending that to you. If you're watching the replay, do tag me because then I get a notification. And do send me a private message if I don't see your request. But for now, I'll say thanks for watching. Mari says thank you. You are welcome. Thank you, everybody, for participating. It makes it more fun for me. Wishing you great health. Bye for now. Louise says, thanks, Simon, really useful. You are welcome, Louise. Bye for now, everybody.